Welcome to our discussion on the Pi economic model. It's such an interesting twist on the traditional cryptocurrency systems, especially when you compare it to
Yep,
Bitcoin's approach.
absolutely. What stands out immediately is how Pi tries to build on Bitcoin's idea of scarcity while addressing some of its inherent distribution challenges, right?
Right. I mean, Bitcoin, as we know, has that fixed supply of 21 million coins coded right in. That scarcity is a huge value driver, but it also means there's an uneven distribution. Early adopters hold a lot more.
And then you've got the decreasing block reward mechanism. Every 4 years or so, the reward halves from its initial 50 coins down to 12.5 now, eventually to 6.25. That's really designed to enforce scarcity while discouraging inflation, isn't it?
Exactly. But that decrease comes with a twist. Those later miners are, in many cases, burning more energy for just a fraction of a coin. It creates a landscape where the real value accrues in the hands of a few early adopters rather quickly.
Yeah. So, with Bitcoin almost becoming a digital gold rather than a day-to-day medium of exchange, Pi tried a different approach, right?
Precisely. Pi's model is built around balancing scarcity with fair access. They wanted to ensure that a large number of people can get involved without having just a tiny proportion owning most of the
Right,
coins.
I see. And they did this by essentially pre-minting a fixed supply per participant for the first 100 million users, correct?
Yes, that's the core idea. Unlike Bitcoin, which fixes the global supply, Pi fixes the supply for each user joining the network early on. That amount is released gradually over the lifetime of that member, largely based on their contribution and engagement, using an exponentially decreasing function analogous to Bitcoin's halving, but on an individual scale.
Yep, makes sense. So it's like each user gets a personal mining quota that shrinks over time as more Pi joins the network. Kind of a built-in meritocratic reward system, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the referral model. To really encourage mass adoption, Pi mints a fixed additional amount, not only for the person joining, but also splits it between the referrer and the referee. It's all designed so that both parties benefit together if they are actively participating.
That's a clever way to both distribute the currency more evenly and drive engagement. But don't you think that might also encourage some gaming of the system?
Well, that's a valid concern. However, Pi's design specifically tries to avoid exploitative models by sharing the reward between both parties, essentially preventing any single party from just preying on inactive referrals.
Right, I see your point. And then we have the developer rewards. How does that add to the overall picture?
Good question. Instead of minting a fixed treasury amount upfront, like many protocols, Pi mints developer rewards progressively. That is, as the network scales. The idea is that the developer's reward is directly proportional to the network's growth, aligning developer incentives
Yes, that
with
aligns
network
nicely with the
health.
community-driven spirit. So overall, the token emission policy is divided into 3 sections. M for mining rewards, R for referral, and D for developer rewards, right?
Exactly. They define the total maximum supply as M plus R plus D, where M is a function of the individual mining supply per person. R is a fixed referral reward shared between two parties, and D is a fixed percentage of the total of M and R. Think of it as a formula that ensures each aspect reinforces the others.
Very methodical. And about that mining supply, the paper mentions it's determined by a logarithmically decreasing function, especially to reward early adopters who, go in when the utility of the network is still low.
Yes, exactly. It's like, imagine being among the first to own the very first smartphone. It wasn't as useful back then, but that early enthusiasm paid off when the technology matured. Early members in the Pi network mine more because they took the risk when the network utility was minimal.
I get that analogy. Yet I have to challenge one part here. Doesn't giving early members much more inherently risk creating a long-term imbalance? What if that concentration discourages new engagement further down the line?
That's a fair challenge. While the idea rewards early contributions, The progressive and decentralized nature of individual mining, combined with active contributions, is designed to mitigate that concentration. It tries to balance reward with ongoing activity so that later participation still matters significantly.
I see interesting balance they're aiming for, and it's truly a neat example of how economic game theory can be applied in a decentralized fashion. It's like they've reimagined Bitcoin's scarcity concept with an added twist for accessibility.
Absolutely. The brilliance here lies in making the economic model simple and intuitive, meaning users can easily grasp how their actions impact both their individual rewards and the overall health of the network.
Exactly. Simplicity is key.
And note, even though Pi introduces this notion of fixed per user supply for early participants, it doesn't sacrifice the principle of scarcity too much. It maintains enough scarcity to preserve value while ensuring a broader distribution which, in theory, should help it serve as a robust medium of exchange if it ever reaches that stage.
Right, that's the goal. It does beg the question, how will this model perform once the network grows past those 100 million early participants? Will the dynamics change significantly?
That's an open question, actually. The current model is tailored to ensure fair distribution in the early stages. But as the network scales, the dynamics of mining, referral, and developer rewards may evolve to meet new economic conditions while still adhering to the core principles outlined in the white
Evolution
paper.
in economic systems is always fascinating. And what's interesting is that this progressive model aligns incentives at multiple levels: users, developers, and even referrers. That interconnected incentive structure might actually be one of the key factors for long-term network health.
Yes, that's vital. It's almost like each participant is part of an ecosystem where everyone's contributions give back to the whole network. It's like an ecosystem effect, where every addition enhances the network's utility in a
Right, like a
self-reinforcing
positive
loop.
feedback system. And the fairness aspect is really appealing too. Bitcoin's inverted means left many with a disproportionate share, but here, by linking rewards with engagement and contributions, Pi intends to level the playing field.
Exactly. It's a shift from a model of early exploitation towards one of meritocratic and inclusive growth. And given how many cryptocurrencies struggle with concentration issues, this model seems like a promising alternative.
Definitely promising. One thing that's interesting is the idea of a logarithmically decreasing function. It might seem counterintuitive at first, since it rewards early participation heavily, but at the same time, it ensures that later contributions aren't rendered meaningless. It's a balancing act where everyone still has something to gain with ongoing engagement.
Yeah, it's like serving a cake in slices that get a bit smaller each time. Early slices are larger, but as more people join, everyone still gets their share. And the decreasing rewards for early slices don't stop new members from earning, it just naturally adjusts the rewards along the network's growth.
That's a neat way to look at it. I also think it's smart how they've tied the developer rewards to network growth. Instead of a huge sum sitting in a treasury that might not even be used effectively, the progressive minting of rewards means the team stays motivated to keep the network healthy.
Right. It aligns long-term interests for both the creators and the community. And that, in my opinion, is one of the most critical aspects, because a cryptocurrency's success hinges not only on its technical design, but also on the active development and evolution
Exactly. A living
of its
ecosystem requires continuous care. In closing, it seems the Pi economic model tried to address a major criticism of Bitcoin by ensuring broader access and a more balanced distribution while maintaining the necessary scarcity that drives value. Would you agree that it's one of the most thoughtful attempts at creating an inclusive crypto economy?
Absolutely. It's an innovative blend of proven principles from Bitcoin with fresh ideas on community-driven incentives and fairness, all wrapped in a model that remains both sophisticated and intuitive. It's definitely a model we'll be watching as the network grows.
Yep, I'm really intrigued to see how this plays out in real time. Thanks for this deep dive. It's been a pleasure exploring the intricacies of the Pi economic model and comparing it with Bitcoin's framework throughout our chat.
Thank you. It's been a great discussion, blending both the theoretical and practical perspectives on this innovative approach to cryptocurrency economics.
Right on.